All right, we are about ready to take off. We got Kai on the Cervelo something or another. And he's loaded up with a Camelback too.
It didn't charge at all.
It didn't charge at all?
It said it'll last 3 hours, so that's crazy. 5% for 3 hours. Shout out Garmin. Yeah,
well,
it'll last 3 hours.
You could use my watch. No, it's not plugged into any of the shit.
Do it on Strava.
What about your phone battery?
That'll be fine.
Okay. What about heart rate?
I'll do it on my watch.
Yeah, okay. And then on Training Peaks, you can merge.
Yeah, I didn't try it, what you said the other day yet, so we can
Yeah,
try it later.
supposedly Training Peaks, you can merge metrics from 2 different workouts. It's a merge function. You Google it and find it. But Kai is on 50 millimeter deep carbon wheels with, those aren't bird spokes, the fiber spokes. The whatever rope spokes. Those are actually white bladed spokes. They look sweet. Yep. All right.
Ready?
Yeah. So we're not going to do the end of Highway 6 at first. No, we are. That's right. Okay. All right. I'm ready to die. Let's do it. All right, we got a nice little sunrise. I'm going to try to give tips while we ride, if I can think of them. Also, not try to crash on wet streets here at the beginning. And on your right, when you're riding with a friend, of course, and this is supposed to be an easy ride. That wheel's too loud, man. Make that thing quieter. I don't like it.
My wheel is too loud?
Yeah, dude, it's annoying. Turn that down.
You're annoying.
So, to avoid the inevitable race and going harder and harder and harder because you're riding with a friend, you actually make it a goal to see who finished the ride with the least amount of watts per kilogram to go the same speed and distance. And then that'll motivate you to be as efficient as possible. Because a 4-hour ride, even if you go easy, is still really, really, hard. So, you know how I know I'm going to beat you? You got that skewer on your front wheel pointing up. It's got this rough stuff. The riding yesterday with this 32 millimeter front tire, I think, it's a wider tire and it's a crappy rim. It's not aero. But the reduction in rolling resistance is so amazing. I think it almost makes up for it. And I think we're going to get through this light, and then I'll catch up with y'all in just a little bit. All right, guy made a little of a wrong turn back there. I gotta talk for a second. Here he comes. Probably roaring up behind me. But if you have the weight advantage on somebody, advantage meaning you're heavier, and coasting on the downhills and getting aero is amazing. And then you eat on the longer downhills, catch up on calories there because your stomach is resting a little bit. It can process those calories. And a couple of interesting tidbits. I'm running 65 psi in the front because this is a 32 tire. How we going? I'm trying to remember where we turned. We're gonna turn left up here. And also, it's gonna hit 95 degrees today. Super humid. So heat index could be 110, something like that. And using these more modern jerseys is such a huge difference as far as cooling effect goes. All right, now I've got about 20 minutes of warm up in and some downhills and everything. Heart rate's nicing up. And then I reset the power by using the lap button, and you can see on my bike computer I got different laps of power. I can reset it any time, and I like doing it when I kind of level out. Here's a runner. I like that waist light. I need to figure out who makes that waist light. That is awesome for running. But it's nice and low and throws a shadow so you don't trip over stuff. On this little descent up here. I also want to get a video of like this awesome training location here in College Station if you want to come out here and ride. A little bit of fuel. Hit the thing. Myself behind Kai a little bit, let that fuel settle in, and then we're gonna have rolling hills for a while. But now what I've done is I've thrown out that first 20 minutes after things settle down, and now I start watching my average power. And every time I get to a low spot again, I reset it. If it's been about 20-30 minutes. And I get nice, good numbers. And then sitting parked behind him was actually a little bit too easy. I'm out here to actually get in some exercise. But once we start going up, he's going to outclimb me. There he goes. We got a stop sign up here and sometimes a cop, so we're going to come to a stop. Oh, the rear tire I'm running 110 because I am running 25 psi. I mean, 110 psi because I'm running 25 millimeter tires. Downside about being back on road bikes, gotta watch out for glass a whole lot more. Kind of sucks. Another trick, if you're heavier and way more and can get more aero, let the people out-climb you. You will catch them on the downhill. over the period of a long ride. We're going to see this happen here. I mean, he just went right past me. It's going to happen again up here. We'll start talking about some zen. Even trying, and then I'm saving energy. I caught back up to him, past him actually. Otherwise, she'll do the same thing past me, up again. What people forget is when you're in a really aero position, you don't need to try as hard. So people get in the aero position and then they continue to pedal just as hard as they did before. So watch, I'm just letting them go. Like that. You have to have confidence in yourself. Like you're riding into a headwind in the aero position, you only need to put out the same amount of watts as if you were riding either no wind or a tailwind sitting upright. It's really wild. And once you realize that, you can keep this nice even power the entire ride. So catch back up to me. And that's so much better for endurance training. Same power. Going right behind. Not trying too hard. Letting all my momentum carry me and having faith in the aero position. Alright, let's talk about some zen. Actually, I think I need to take a sip of fuel. I'm 30 minutes in. I need to make sure I'm a quarter of the way through a 2-hour bottle. And I'll do it right before this downhill. Close. I'll let him go, because I'll catch him. Another thing I noticed is I don't need to be anywhere near as careful about cracking the road. With this wider front tire. We got a nice climb right here, out climbing. So people, you know these people in your life that are always finding fault with others. Complaining. It's too hot. Other people are cheating. Those other people's cars better than mine. Another runner. There's a marathon coming up. How's it going?
start planning our next bikepacking trip.
I'm ready, dude. We're gonna go to Gonzales.
Where's that?
The ranch. It's southeast of San Marcos.
We gotta do it when it's less cold though. That was horrible.
Yeah. Aunt and Uncle Jane and Bill's ranch. There's a ranch house. You gonna ride road bikes or gravel bikes?
Gravel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, totally gravel. Duh.
I would do road if I could get bigger tires. Way bigger tires.
Well, our gravel bikes are really all road bikes. That's the way they're.
Huh?
Our gravel bikes
Yeah.
are technically all road bikes.
Yeah.
They got pretty responsive geometry, you know.
You want to do a longer one or?
Yeah. I want to do something where we sleep in the woods along the way in hammocks. Like we have to find a place, and we might get caught. Then there's some danger. Or there's campgrounds along the way. By the way, interesting thing. Some of the videos on YouTube I made recently talking about Taoism and everything has a way and a path. It applies to the universe, kind of like that's what Star Wars The Force is based on. But also everything has its own method. And thing can be like a sport, doesn't have to be a thing, a physical object. So for the correct way for me to ride isn't necessarily the correct, well, there's no chance, the correct way for a Kai to ride. His best riding is to climb faster than me up the hill. And then try to get arrow and pedal with me and tuck in my draft on the downhill. Once I pass him at the bottom of the downhill. So back to finding fault and contentment. See how I just caught him like I'm hardly trying. This is almost like a dance. It is pretty magical how it works. But a mistake a rider would make, beginner riders, or people that never like level up to elite, is they would try to keep up with that lighter person on every hill climb. And then they wear themselves out. Anyway, you'll notice that people that don't complain, there's people out there that don't complain, and why? And it's because they've reached a level of contentment. Everything's good enough. And you would think, well, that's only for the rich or the wildly successful. But that's not true. I'll be back to tell you how. All right. So acquiring all this stuff so that you're content, I mean, it does help. You know, like healthcare and a car that doesn't break down. That's nice. I'm gonna sit upright when I talk. And reserve in your bank account, you know, because not having enough money or living in a bad neighborhood where you're worried about crime and stuff is stressful. Those are things you got to work your way out of if you can. But also, you know, studies show, everybody knows, that tons of money and whatever, there's a lot of miserable people with a lot of money. More stuff brings more problems. You're always fighting. Let's say you own several houses where you got a problem. You're always dealing with somebody calling you and telling you that your other house flooded, or you know, you got to keep up the maintenance on that third car, or I don't know, all that stuff. It really does wear on you too. But in Zen Buddhism, what they practice is contentment. The name of it escapes me at the moment because I'm trying to do a bike ride. But see, that's okay. That's contentment. I don't need to figure that out. Oh, sticky brake. Ah, it's ruined my average. The Tao of Kai is he out accelerates me, and then like a diesel I slowly gain ground. There's a football game today. We're here in College Station, Texas. Texas A&M University's hometown. It's a home game where if it was a big name university, the town would get slammed. I don't think we're playing a big name university this weekend. So it's only going to be half of that. Like we played Notre Dame, we beat Florida State. That was an away game. You feeling pretty good? Yeah. You're not trying too hard? All right, good. Got a slight uphill, so I'm going to tuck in behind me. Let his draft help me uphill. One way to practice contentment, you need to learn contentment, and then you'll quit going around being miserable all the time. One thing for me that works nicely is to remember all the things that have gone right. Because you tend to remember just stuff that's gone wrong. traffic jam sucked on the way into work today. You're like, yeah, but my car started and it ran smooth.
lots of little examples like that. Oh, this red light. But what about all the green lights? You know? You made it through. My bicycle's old. It's like, yeah, but I got a bicycle. It's so cool. But another one that's really interesting is you learn this by doing without. By the way, you know, I'm talking while I'm riding. One thing that happens if you're riding with friends or you're recording something, you forget to eat and drink if you're talking a lot. Get to the top of this hill and start coasting down. I'm going to try to match my fuel intake to the time. I love this barn right here. It's so cool. So if you do without something for a while, you realize you don't really need it. You realize you do without a lot of stuff, and you realize how little stuff you need, and also how things just kind of appear to help you out. You need a new tire, you need a meal. You're surprised like how it just appears. Yeah, so you got a nice long catch up right here. But a good one that people practice is camping. So some people are like, why would I practice being poor? But some people need it. So camping, spend like 3 days really camping. Not car camping, but like camping. And like, you realize you don't need hardly anything. So it's a little rough there. But you know, you go without your phone. A lot of times it has to be forced on you, but when it's forced on you, like, let it happen and experience it. Like you've misplaced your phone. That's a hard one. Like go without your phone for a little bit. So then what happens is you realize what little you actually need to get by. And then when you get back, it's like a superficial level of where you think, oh, and then when I get back, the contentment comes from having my stuff back. But that's actually not it. The realization is that you are enough. You got to work on you. You are the source of everything that you need. Everything else is extra. I heard a funny saying yesterday. RuPaul, the drag queen, like, we're born naked. And just ourselves. Everything else after that is drag. It's kind of funny. All right. Let's catch cod. All right, we got a group of roadies catching us. Could be an A&M cycling team. Could be mid-packers. Could be a bunch of dentists. You never know. Let's see who it is. Could be triathletes, the worst cyclists of them all. Shadows. A line of it behind.
How far are you going?
4 hours. Oh, that was fun. They never caught us. I mean, they caught us, but they couldn't pass us. I think they're a mix of road bike and tri-bike. Oh, there's still one roadie behind me. So you practice this level of contentment, you're fine who you are, then you don't need to find fault with others, because really what you're doing with that, as everybody knows, you're bringing other people down to lift yourself up. It's psychological. You're not happy where you are. it's this wonderful feeling, like to be enough. And another way to get that feeling, actually, is through doing hard stuff like long endurance events. Whenever I do something kind of tough, I have this feeling of contentment for days. So nice. This is one of my favorite spots. It's a nice little hill climb into the sunrise. This is our local time trial course, or it used to be. And I used to bring Kai out here on a tandem that we used to race when he was little. So like 7 years old. $20K time trial. Here's another runner. I'd hear him coasting behind me, and I'd be like, dude, pedal. He'd be like, Daddy, why is the sky blue? You know, that kind of stuff. I'm like, because of the refraction of dust particles in the air, tend to reflect blue than the other colors, or the other way around, or whatever it is. I'm like, but also pedal, motherfucker. And then it'd be coasting, and then I would finally say, if we win and you keep pedaling, I'll buy you a milkshake at McDonald's on the way home. And then all of a sudden you just feel this power surge. It was really cool. Very cute. Great way to teach them bike skills and community. Alright, we're about to stop up here and take a pee break. I've burned down the battery right here. Talk for a second. So, yeah, through like self-achievement of doing hard stuff, you quit comparing yourself to others. You compare yourself against yourself, especially if it's an endurance sport that's like ultra marathoning and Ironman or gravel riding, where you do it mostly like non-draft, so it doesn't really depend on other people. And you can compare, if you do the same events year after year, spend a whole year improving yourself for next year. Or on weekend long rides, you know, at the same effort, what can I do to get in more miles? Or if I do the same amount of time, like a 4-hour ride, to do lower heart rate, how do I become more fit? More miles in the same amount of time, you know, and then when the weather's bad, be like, did I handle it better? You know, you overcome the elements. Like last weekend's ride was really cold. Same temperature this weekend, but I didn't get anywhere near as cold. And then when the person in the cube next to you, or whatever, on Facebook, saying they wish they had that BMW, dude, that's not going to do anything for you. Like knowing yourself and that you've improved yourself, it But just as an average human, you are an incredible athletic machine if you just train some. So just to know, even if you're just an average person, your athletic ability is incredible. So to train yourself to your athletic ability is really important. You want to stop here, Kai? All right. Just a pro tip. When you pee, make sure you don't pee on the... I'm going to get in this shade over here on your wheel, especially your front wheel, because the ammonia in your urine eats the nipples on the wheel. Gives you broken spokes. All right. And also, pee break. You know you should pee about every hour and 45 minutes. Or you're well hydrated if you feel the need to pee every hour and 45 minutes. Can you hold my bike while I do the battery thing? Let me try to get to a place where I can stand. All right. All right, we are back on the road. Did a camera battery swap out. The latest firmware version made aftermarket batteries not work, like the Keurig model. And boy, people are pissed. And so customer support told me how to revert the firmware back to the older version. But I spent some money on these extra batteries, and the error message was like, these are non-OEM batteries, Insta360 brand. Check your batteries, or go only buy our stuff and be locked in completely to our ecosystem. This road's rough right here. Roads like this is why I swapped to the 32 front tire. All right, seems like everything's recording after the battery swap. Let's power down and be right back. All right, we just stopped for water at the 2-hour mark. Almost nailed it exactly as far as where that was going to be. And now we're going to do the whole thing that we've just done in reverse. And I'm going to have to work hard. I started getting tired. Legs a little bit. But being in the arrow position, because this bike is so slammed. Now on my gravel bike, my arrow position's higher and a little bit wider, you know, for more stability on gravel because you're off-road. But this one, I'm not used to it. My shoulders are starting to hurt a little bit. The whole key is to get limber enough so that you just lay in the arrow position. And it's easy. You shouldn't have to try to be in arrow position. It's just, you can just lay in it. Like One thing that's funny is like, you know, gravel and mountain biking is a lot of fun. Road biking's kind of fun in my mind. It all depends, you know, on you. But riding an aero bike, a time trial bike, is insane. It's like flying a fighter jet or a SR-71 Blackbird. It is so fast. You kind of feel like you're riding that skeleton in the winter sports, where it's not even the bobsled, just a guy on skates on his back, but you're on your belly, head first. Oh, is the skeleton head first? That it's a little addictive. And another interesting thing about physics is there's so little drag that it's actually, and this really helps if you're a bigger person, there's so little drag that these types of bikes, these time trial bikes, allow you to keep up momentum faster, higher, easier. They seem easier to stay at a high speed, and there's a benefit of riding at a higher speed. His hills don't take as long. Everything's easier. It's like flying a performance super aero jet versus a prop plane, because it's so efficient. You can just glide along. So nice. Oh, crap, dude! I was gonna reset my watch. Maybe I already did. Kai's now starting to get the jump on me. But what I needed to remember, this spot we're going right now was actually uphill and into the wind. And I've historically always noticed I get, like, on a hot day, I get worn out and sick to my stomach. It's about 6 miles maybe of a gradual climb. And you don't really notice it, but you start noticing a pattern. You're like, I always get sick of this one spot, or worn out. I got a tailwind, so I'm gonna ride upright. Save my arrow. Look at that hole. Save my arrow for when I'm going faster downhill or head to a headwind. All right, if everything goes well, that was our last stop. Now we got 2 hours. See if I can catch it. But through efficiency, not through trying very hard. Just kind of chewing away. At the distance. I don't know, it's 50-50 chance. He's hauling. Bold move, Cotton. have the calm on this section. It's scary as hell because you could have cross traffic right here. Like this truck. Here, there used to be a really bad bump in the road, and it was so bad that I actually took pavement paint, like chalk. They went away after a while. But anyway, I painted a skull and crossbones right there with an arrow pointing at the bump. And still, until they finally smoothed it out. Over the next few years, I saw 2 people have to go to the hospital because of hitting that bump. All right, we'll come back with more interesting stuff. Oh yeah, my legs are toast. I felt that. Time to nurse it home. That last section was really rough. And now we're back on long rolling hills. Where I can draft off of them on the way up. An arrow cruise on the way back down. I'm listening to music. About an hour, 15 minutes to go. Oh, there he goes. All right. Alright, just occurred to me, this is where nutrition and hydration now is the biggest factor. I'm starting to get tired. We're both sort of evenly matched. He's outpowering me right now. Feeling a little bit better. But I refilled up with more water. I gotta try to keep eating and drinking. It's getting really hot. So drink extra water to help that fuel dilute. So I need extra water since I'm sweating so much. People stop eating and drinking, they get all buckled down, target fixation. All right, now we got a tailwind most of the way home. Holy crap, that was brutal. Still got 45 minutes to go. We just rode into a headwind for like an hour.
All right.
I'm pretty toasted. This bike position. I'm gonna ride it easy the rest of the way home. What are you gonna do? Easy or medium or what?
I'm between easy and medium.
Okay.
I'll see you back at home.
All right. My rear radar light died. My Garmin just shut down and turned itself back on for no reason. With this heat and a tailwind, it's going to get hot. So I'm going to slow down a lot. I might even pull over and take a break for a minute. Woo! I start to feel a little sick to my stomach. Can't tell if it's too much electrolyte, going too hard in the heat. But it is time to slow down. I might pull over here in the shade. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. So there's a ranch just like this on the other side of the Navasota River. I wonder if it's all one property. And they've got their own personal little low water crossing across the river. I'm gonna sit here in the shade and let all my fuel settle. Yeah, being slammed in this aero position I'm not used to yet. Like it backs fuel up. And the other thing is I went from riding like an hour, maybe an hour and a half on this bike once every few weeks to a full 4 hours in the heat, suddenly trying to keep up with somebody. But this ain't too bad. One reason we do endurance sports is to find out where our limits are, you know? Find out who you are. And then, like I was talking about earlier, when you know yourself, then you're really content because you know what you're dealing with. And then no matter what anybody else says, you know whether you're doing enough or too much or too little, because you know yourself. You compare against yourself instead of comparing against others. Wow. Yeah, I was getting overheated. Ooh. The thing that really did it in was that group of cyclists earlier on pushed it just a tiny bit too hard to not let them catch us. And that's what got me. All it takes is a little bit of that early on, and then you're cooked for the rest of the time. All right, I'm gonna let my stomach settle here. I'll come back if I think of anything cool. I don't even know what mile we're on. 62. All right. What, at 3 hours and 15 minutes? Those of you that want to do the math. I wonder how many miles per hour that is. I bet that's probably 18 and a half, 19 miles an hour. Maybe 19 and a half. All right. Oh, and I started getting a little bit of a cramp in my left leg. That was a sign. But a lot of that's, like just position. You change bike positions, and then you use muscles a little bit differently. And you use muscles you haven't used as much. And then they'll cramp. All right. All right. So analyzing my, I guess it's a bonk. I really would, I'm not out of energy. I start feeling sick to my stomach. And legs are blown out. Got gas on a cake, which means I had too much fuel and it was backing up. And then when you drink water and try to catch up, then it blasts through. So that's good. If you're burping, it's coming back up. If you're farting, what was coming back up is now going the right direction at least. You just don't want to poop your pants. Anyway, what I'm doing is coasting the downhill. Whenever you feel like you're not going anywhere on a bike, I mean, remember you're on a bike, dude. When you're going uphill, you're going about the same speed as walking. So you're going about the same speed as if you were walking. That ain't bad. And then on the downhills and on the flats, especially the downhills, you're going way faster than you could if you were running. Well, you are getting somewhere. Especially on the downhills, you're going like super running speed with like not even trying. And you just take it one hill at a time. I was thinking, I do 4-hour rides all the time on my gravel bike, but in this same heat. I'm like, so what's the difference? And I think definitely it was trying harder. Even though you don't know you're doing it. Somebody's honking. And then when you're trying harder in the heat, the fuel gets backed up. It starts to make you feel sick. And then you get to practice a whole different sport, which is survival. Can I make it home without somebody coming to pick me up? How far can I coast? Plus, this bike position was set when I weighed about 185, and I weigh about 200 right now. So I got 15 pounds of gut pressing up against my stomach. It's not letting stuff digest through. Boy, going downhill and at this speed too. Feels so good, the cooling effect. Because the problem is it's going uphill with the tailwind. It's just like, God, it's so hot. But I did see something cool. They were interviewing the guy, Lachlan Morton. It better not be a flat. Lachlan Morton is going to try to set the world record for going around the world. And so they interviewed the guy that currently holds the record. And the guy said it's really hard. He's never going to try to do it again. There was paramedics and cops and a fire engine here earlier at this park. I thought maybe there was a grass fire. Maybe somebody had a heart attack. But then he said, he goes, I'm not a little guy like Lachlan. You know? And I'm thinking, people that say that are like pro cyclists and stuff. I weigh 170 pounds. It's like, dude, that's still not that light. Keep feeling like I got a flat rear tire. I said he weighs 100 kilos. I think that's what he said. 180. Anyway, I looked it up. He weighs 220 pounds. Nice. 220 pounds. I swear is what my math said. I may have misheard him. But let's just say he weighs 200 pounds. That's a lot. It makes you realize, you know, like you don't. There's all different kinds of cycling. If you don't weigh very much, then hillier stuff you're going to do pretty good at. Funny meme. It's like, because I drive a truck kind of like, not almost as big as one of those. Just got off my 15-hour shift at the ball smashing factory. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Those kinds of trucks are fun to drive with. Really fun. There was another toot. Things are moving the right way. The thing about these kinds of slammed tri-bikes is even if you're sitting upright, you're still pretty slammed. You literally have to sit on the elbow pads. Or put your hands on the elbow pads to get anywhere near as upright as on a road bike. We got a big hill coming up. Sort of. For here. That's going to cook me. But then I'll be so close to getting home. There's a shady spot at the top of this hill too. I might take another break there. I'll do that and I'll come back and tell you how it went. All right, what I'm practicing here is taking a break in the shade before I need to take a break in the shade. Actually go a little bit faster that way. Take a break before you need one. A little bit of fuel. I'm gonna drink a ton of water. That used to be a computer place, like a little mom and pop computer shop. Oh, across the highway here is Santa's Wonderland. It's a big tourist attraction. You got to Google it. A lot of people quit going because it was a waste of money. But it got too expensive. That's what I mean, I guess. I got something running down here. What is that? Oh, anyway. Okay, now time to drink lots of water. Emily's going to call next and ask if I'm okay. So, what I've got next is when I go down this highway right here. I go this way, there's a slight rise, and then another rise, and then a big bomb downhill. And then I got to decide, well, am I going to do the big bomb downhill? I'm talking here to waste time so that I cool down. Oh, there's a breeze right here coming through. I don't think anybody can see me, so nobody's going to mess with me. So this would be a cool place to have like a triathlon store or a bike shop right here. Because you got those little parking lot to test out stuff, and then you get on the feeder road and ride. But anyway. So now I'm thinking about that beer. Do I stop one more time before I get home? Because the last thing is before I get home, there is a steep uphill right at the very end. It sucks. And then Kai's going to make fun of me for beating me so bad. But I'm also proud of him for beating me so bad. So we'll see. All right. Dude, I could just camp out here for an hour. It'd be nice. But we got a birthday party we got to go to this afternoon. All right. I guess let's go. So I just noticed I almost got I got a low front tire, like really low. I don't know if this tire has sealant in it either, so I put a CO2 in it. But, fuck. Excuse my language. I said truck. I'm going to go ahead and call Kai and Emily and tell them I might need a ride for a flat. And then they can come get me, be ready to come get me. Hey, I might need somebody to come get me because I got a flat front tire. Hello? Well, Kai should be there somewhere. Okay, well, I'm going to try to make it, but I don't know if it's going to make it. I just passed the flea market. I'll let you know, but just giving you a heads up. If it loses too much air, then I'm going to need somebody, yeah. It's down to about it just suddenly went down to about half of what it should be. Okay, all right, love you. Bye. All right, we'll see what happens. All right, so a couple things I'm doing here. The front tire is really soft, and it's got an inner tube in it. And I just took the bike from the bike shop, and I'm not sure if this inner tube's got sealant in it, but what I'm doing is, because it's soft, I could pinch flat it if I hit something hard, anything. So a trick with that is to try to ride on the rear wheel if it's your front. Vice versa. If you're flat, if your rear is going flat. One to protect your rim, and another one to keep it from pinch flatting if you got an inner tube in there. And it really does work pretty nice to a point. And then another thing is, like, to not catastrophize. I just discovered this. It could have been going flat. Let me get my weight on the front. Let me sit up, put my weight on the rear wheel. It could have been going flat for hours. You know? So I might be able to make it home just fine if I'm careful. My rear radar died for some reason. So now I don't know if there's cars coming up behind me. But another thing I've noticed with bigger volume tires, like mountain bike tires and gravel tires, is they'll get flat. If you have some sealant in there, and even sometimes if you don't, well, I almost always have sealant in there, they'll get flat. A lot of times they won't go completely flat. They'll get soft to a point, and then the amount, because they're bigger tires, they don't need that much air pressure. And then the air pressure that's left in there, say you got like 20 psi left or something, it's enough to float the rim. Yeah. But it's not enough pressure for it to keep pushing air out of the tire. And you might have 20 psi the rest of the way home. If you ride carefully, you can make it. So that's our experiment right now. Oh, and another thing that's interesting is slowing down is, man, I feel way better. Way, way better. Now, I have a spare inner tube. I got a TPU one in there. But it's so hot and I'm so close to home. I'd rather do that right at the house, and if I can make it home, just ride like this. And not use another CO2 to try to air it up. Because I topped this tire off with a CO2, and it's interesting as it like went almost right back down to this super soft PSI. When I get home, I'll do I got a tire gauge, pressure gauge, and we'll see what I rode home on with an inner tube at 200 something pounds, loaded up with water, extra large bike, and still made it home without pinch flatting. And then We have a small swimming pool in the backyard. Air up the tire and then rotate the rim and tire and valve stem underwater and see where the air's coming out. It could be a leak at the valve core or something like that. That's pretty typical. I'm almost there. All right, I made it. 74 miles. The last 15 were crap. It's still fun. An adventure. Now I've learned something more about myself. I can ride home on whatever PSI tire this thing ends up being. We'll be right back and find out. All right, I got my tire gauge. I'm gonna video this for the, come on. All right, I just rode home on about 10 to 15 miles of flat tire-ish. Let's see what PSI you can ride on a 32 with an inner tube. I think it said 22 before it died on me. Let's try it again. .5. I think pushing on it did it in. Yeah, that was it. I think it was at 22. And then it must be where the the inner tube is rubbing against the rim in there. Blew it out. Okay. That's it.